Rock Riley and I had no impact as we were at Ferg's yesterday. Rock Riley and Nick Wise were on after Aaron and I for opening day, and they were having the Taylor Walls debate. Aaron was jumping on with them. They were having the Taylor Walls debate, and Rock was on the side of let's keep Carson Williams out there. And Rock and I started chanting Carson Williams, and the next thing you know, there was an email to everybody that Carson Williams actually heading back down to Durham, and Taylor Walls will be returning to the lineup, which he did yesterday with a double. And we all know, double or not yesterday, Taylor Walls is a part of this club for defense, and he is exceptional when it comes to being a defensive shortstop. One of the best in baseball, maybe the best in baseball, but his bat has been so bad, career batting average below 200, that there's a lot of us, and I'm in that group, that have said at times, like, I'm done. I've seen enough of Taylor Walls. Like, let's keep Carson out there to have him figure it out or whatever it might be. I don't need to see more Taylor Walls. Well, we got Taylor Walls back yesterday. Again, a big double and just a good return to the lineup. And I asked before the break, is it time for those of us, I will put myself right squarely in the middle of that group, who are anti-Taylor Walls, to apologize to Taylor Walls? Sam, you did, correct me if I'm wrong, you did apologize to Taylor Walls on Saturday, right?
Yeah, this was before he even returned. I said after I watched Carson Williams botch that 6-4-3 tailor-made, pun intended, double play, I was over it. I took it one step further, Pat. I don't know if you saw on Twitter yesterday. I tweeted Taylor Walls is the best shortstop in Rays franchise history.
Which is crazy.
And then Ben Williamson made that diving play at second, and I even one-upped myself again and said it's the Taylor Walls effect.
Or it's just Ben Williamson's a good fielder, and it's just
very good.
Or it's good baseball player, or it's just Kevin Cash knows what he's doing. And this is why I argued with you, Pat, yesterday. This guy is smarter than us. And when it comes to baseball,
Taylor Walls happened to double yesterday?
No, that has nothing to do with it, and you know that. When it comes to the completion of this team, Pat, when you look at Taylor Walls and how much defense means to this team, what are the Rays doing successfully so far this season consistently?
Not much.
Well, I think that's unfair.
Hitting to an extent, but
they're top 10 in all categories in hitting. So what do you mean to an extent? They've been one of the better hitting teams in baseball this year, so they're hitting the ball. So if you can trade a little bit of the bat, which you weren't really getting from that position anyway, so you're not really trading much right now. You're just adding good defense. That is a no-brainer decision to put Taylor Walls in there, and that's why I told you the second he is good to go, he's going to be back in the lineup. He's going to be back there at shortstop for that. For that exact reason, and I know he's not a good hitter, but his hitting doesn't drop off enough, and you saw that yesterday with a double. It doesn't drop off enough that you would trade the defense for it. You need it.
Yeah, but right now that is the case because you're not getting a lot more out of Carson Williams, to your point. But that said, I shouldn't have said what I said anyways when you said that Kevin Cash is smarter than us, because the reality is, no matter what, he is way smarter than us. Like, when it comes to being a Major League Baseball manager, right? He's a 2-time manager of the year. I don't want to make it sound like I think he's a bad manager. I also don't think maybe he's as smart as you think he is or other people think he is, because he's to me, he's made plenty of mistakes with the lineup, right? He has. And to me, this team has not been very good for a couple years straight now. And eventually, you've got to be held accountable when your team's not performing. And I know the roster is not stacked. I said going into last year, I didn't think they did enough, and I didn't think they were talented enough. And I said it again coming into this season. So it's not all on Kevin Cash. But I still think when you look at what he does with the lineup, I'm not in love with all the tinkering that he does and some of the moves that he makes. And I know it's analytics, and he's got to do this, and he's got to do that. I don't care. I'd rather see more consistency out of the lineup. I'd rather never see dudes that can't hitting in the 2-hole or the 3-hole. Like, to me, those are little tinkers.
That's what he does.
He doesn't have to.
Yeah, he does.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to put bad hitters at the top of the lineup. That's never a tinker.
Who's a bad hitter they put to the top of the lineup?
I'm not even talking about right now, because we're 10 games into the season.
Yeah, but last year there were so many injuries he had to tinker.
He's always done it, dude. He's always done it. And I don't agree with it.
There was stability there for a little bit, but when you have injuries, and nobody knows that more than me right now with my finger.
Oh, God.
They derail you.
By the way, we've got a couple of our friends from our sales staff in here with us. Have you guys noticed Aaron's finger? He's battling through. He is battling through. He came in on Friday. He hadn't even seen the doctor yet.
Because I knew.
And he was able on Friday to sit here and host this radio show with me for 3 hours.
Didn't even have a splint on.
Without even having a splint on his finger. By the way, broken in 2 spots. He was able to speak into a microphone for 3 hours without even a splint on. So I hope you guys recognize the warrior that I am sitting across from.
Next level tough, and it really just changed. Like, I had to do that for the show, and that's what guys are doing for this team. And last year, they just couldn't overcome that. I might overcome
They're
it.
going to overcome it this year?
I don't know. I don't know. It's too early.
Yeah.
But I see really
I'm not
good
confident. I'm not confident.
I see good things. I mean,
We saw good things last year. Was it Andy Freed yesterday, or was it Neil Solondz who was on with Nick and Rock?
Both
And
of them.
they, but no, I know. But one in particular had said, like, they started poorly. They were like, their first 6 or so games were bad, and then they were one of the best teams, if not the best team in baseball, for like 6 weeks. So we see good things. Every baseball team sees good things. Is it sustainable? I'm not confident that it is. And by the way, when I say is it sustainable, they're a 500 club. They're hitting better than we expected, and they're a 500 club.
that's the errors.
Well, yeah, it's partly
And the
errors,
bullpen.
but
the bullpen, yes, the bullpen the last couple of days has been stellar. So
right, but but before it wasn't.
Yeah,
And it's
but
the same
that's-
thing we say about the hitting. Like is it all sustainable for the entirety of the season? Because it all has to be, and then some, for this team to compete.
nobody's great. I shouldn't say that. Very few teams are polished and great when the season starts. You got to work through some of the kinks. It's why it's 162 games. It's why I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but COVID season was so ridiculous because 60 games is not enough to be able to determine. Like, that's how teams, like at the time, the Marlins get in, because it's just not enough time for the good teams to keep going and the bad teams to fall
Aaron,
away.
You know a lot about baseball. I'll sit here and say you know more than I do about baseball, right? Look at this. Look at the American League East. When you look at the rosters in the American League East, do you think that this team is ready to compete against them?
No, but the Red Sox are 2-8.
Yeah.
All right, so
But,
do you think they're gonna?
that's why I said I don't look at the records. Like you just said, we're 10 games into the season. Look at the rosters. Look at the rosters in the American League East and tell me that you honestly believe that this one's as good as the other
Go
ones.
to every single Rays year where they've had success and tell me if that, and give me all the rosters of the AL East and go and don't give me the power of hindsight.
Tell me the pitching staffs on those teams, because they're better than this one.
But it doesn't. But at this point, what do you mean the starting rotation? That's not fair, right? The bullpen has been really good.
If you're talking about the teams
lately.
that went to the World Series, it is fair.
Okay, but the
That's the
okay,
way we're
are you
talking about,
the
right?
starters? Or
Are we
just
talking about like barely getting into the playoffs again and then getting knocked out?
Are you talking
Or are we
about
talking
this-
about being a competitor?
Are you talking about starting pitching, or are you talking about
Yes.
the bullpen?
Yes. It was a better
starting
staff.
pitching, the Rays have had one of the better staffs this year. They might, if everyone stays healthy, they have one of the best staffs in baseball. The way Nick Martinez and Steven Matz has looked, the way Boyle has looked, and then you get back Pepio, and you've got McClanahan, who's going to get better, and Rasmussen. That's actually one of the best staffs in baseball.
Better than 08?
That's not fair. That's hindsight. Like, I don't know, but no.
Like, does it seem to you like they could be better than 08?
Before
Like,
08,
probably.
would you be like, this is the greatest staff the Rays are going to have?
No, but
'Cause you don't
during,
know.
but I'm not saying I knew it then. That's not the point. I'm saying I saw it
All right,
then.
do they have potential?
We
Yes.
lived. I'm saying
Is that
we,
what you want me to answer?
I'm saying
Yeah, they have
we
potential.
lived it then. We saw it then. We see what we know what it's about. We know what winning is about, right? We've heard that from coaches that say, "I know what a championship team looks like, and we've got one." You think that we'd say that about this roster? Does it look like a championship roster to you? I know you want to be positive, dude. We both love this team. Does it feel like a championship roster to you?
I've never in the history of the Rays looked at a Rays roster and said it looked like a championship roster. That's not
I know.
how they do it.
I know. I felt really good about the pitching staff. I know. It felt like, dude.
Okay,
So,
so
dude,
sick.
2008. I walked into that season and I said, "Watch out for this team. They're growing and they're going to compete in a couple years." I didn't think they'd be in the World Series that year. They were way ahead of what I thought
Just
they
like
were.
you said, just
But
like
I
I'm saying,
saw
they're
it.
growing.
I saw it in front of me.
I
don't
see
see it in
that
front of
too.
me right now.
Well, open
I think
your
you're
eyes.
lying to yourself if you say that you do.
I would disagree with you. I'm just telling you the truth.